The McGill International Portfolio Challenge is the world's leading buy-side finance competition, allowing students from over 50 schools to present their solutions in front of a world-class panel of the brightest minds in asset management. Over the past 4 years, participants have risen to the challenge to crack cases highlighting the real issues pension plans face today, from solvency to climate change to even the rise of protectionism. Each year, these students raise the bar, and more industry professionals are hungry for their innovative and well-thought-out solutions. I'm Jackie Hudspeth, McGill MBA 2021.
And I'm Etienne Pouliot, McGill BCom 2023.
The pandemic has only added to the pressure on current pension plans, and more so than ever, asset managers face an extremely complex situation where they are expected to extract the most wealth for pensioners while reducing the risk. Workers are expected to put in sometimes up to 30% of their salary to plan for even a modest retirement. And even then, it's possible that nothing will be left in the pool by the time they reach their golden years. Why is this happening?
Today, we're in an ultra-low yield environment worldwide. Long-term interest rates are at an all-time low, and as government worldwide attempts to manage the effects of the pandemic, it's looked like they're going to stay there for a while. So bonds, seen as inherently lower risk, have become extremely expensive to own as they yield very low.
Pension systems that used to be seen as the best in the world, such as the Netherlands, are moving the needle as to when pensioners can claim retirement, revamping their approaches entirely, or just closing. DB and DC plans are both at risk. So this year, we're diving into a hybrid approach, the CDC, and no, not the one giving you COVID updates on the news. We're talking a collective defined contribution plan.
Collective defined contribution plans have been introduced recently to pension schemes around the world. These plans are meant to be a bridge between regular defined benefit plan and defined contribution. Employees benefit from economies of scale, lower charges, and international risk sharing via usage of a reserve. This reserve provides extra cushion and flexibility to the fund policy. This reserve must be managed with extreme care, as any deviation from policies can hinder the sustainability of the plan. However, a great usage of the reserve combined with a good asset allocation can allow fund managers to reach higher return while reducing overall risk.
In this case, students take on the role of consultants to the newly appointed CIO of Bowen Pension Plan, set to come into effect January 2022. This plan, valued at 30 billion euros, merges 6 smaller DB funds covering the Dutch building and construction industries with over 300,000 members. Teams are tasked with designing a plan that tackles 3 major aspects. The first, to determine the optimal asset allocation in an ultra-low yield environment. The second, to maximize the usage of the reserve, given that the reserve maxes out at 15% of the assets. Now, the reserve is unique to CDC funds. Students will have to create a risk-sharing formula to maximize the usage of it. If the reserve is capped too early, more money will be allocated to the current retirees, and less money can be allocated to future generations. However, if the reserve is underfunded and bad times occur, current retirees will see a reduction in their pension payments.
And now, the last piece of the puzzle. Students need to set the optimal level of contribution by each pensioner. This means how can they share their risk from an intergenerational perspective, given that contribution max out at a certain level. This part is interrelated with the asset allocation that students have come up with. A riskier asset allocation will technically means a lower contribution than a safer one. These 3 parts will be tricky as they need to be in perfect sync in order to avoid trade-off. If too much invested in bonds, employee will need to save a lot. If no reserve, no intergenerational risk sharing. If too much invested in stocks, too much risk is taken for current retirees. It's up to the students to figure out the right balance to strike.
Simple enough, right? As our students toil away in the spreadsheets and analyst reports to this very real and very complex problem, we invite you to save the date and come join us virtually November 4th and 5th to see the finalists present. As the world's leading asset managers come together to review, provide feedback, and network with our participants, the solutions proposed here have the power to influence the future of pension plans globally, and maybe give us hope for retirement after all. Thanks for watching, and we will see you at MIPC 2021.